What if the thing that hurt you also changed the way your mind works forever? Most people think trauma only breaks people. It makes them anxious, closed off, overthinking, and sometimes that's true, but there's another side to it that almost nobody talks about. Sometimes pain doesn't just leave scars. Sometimes it sharpens perception. It forces the brain to adapt, to notice faster, think deeper, analyze harder. And if that happened to you, you may have developed something unusual, a kind of survival intelligence, the ability to read what others miss, to sense danger before it appears, to notice patterns most people never see. Here are 10 signs trauma may have made your mind sharper than most people realize. 1. You read people instantly. Have you ever met someone and immediately felt something was off before they even said much? That's not always paranoia. Sometimes it's pattern recognition. When you've experienced emotional unpredictability, your brain learns to scan people fast. Facial tension, voice changes, micro expressions, tiny details, things most people ignore. Your brain notices them automatically because once missing those signals had consequences. 2. You notice shifts in energy immediately. Most people need obvious proof. You don't. You can feel when the mood changes, when someone becomes colder, when tension enters a room, when someone is hiding irritation. You sense it before words confirm it. This happens because your nervous system became trained to detect change instantly, not because it wanted to, because it had to. 3. You overanalyze everything. People often call this a weakness, but analysis is intelligence. The problem is only when it becomes exhausting. Your brain learned that details matter. That one sentence could mean something deeper. That one action might reveal hidden intent. So now, your mind examines everything, constantly looking for what others missed. 4. You can predict people surprisingly well. Sometimes people feel predictable to you, almost obvious. You can tell what they'll say, how they'll react, what they're about to do. This isn't magic. It's advanced behavioral pattern recognition. When survival once depended on understanding people quickly, your brain got very good at reading human behavior. 5. You trust slowly. This isn't emotional coldness. It's selective intelligence. Your brain learned that trust should be earned, not assumed. While others open up too quickly, you observe first. You collect data. You wait. And more often than not, your caution protects you. 6. You think several steps ahead. Your mind is rarely in the present moment. It's already calculating possibilities. If this happens, then that follows. If they react this way, what comes next? You mentally simulate outcomes again and again. This is what happens when uncertainty once felt dangerous. Your brain became obsessed with preparation. 7. You notice what people don't say. This is one of the rarest forms of awareness. Anyone can hear words. Few notice absence, the pause before answering, the avoided topic, the forced smile, the missing enthusiasm. Sometimes silence reveals more than language ever could, and your brain notices. Immediately. 8. You adapt fast. People with traumatic experience often become mentally flexible. Why? Because adaptation was necessary. You learned how to adjust quickly, how to read situations and shift accordingly, how to survive emotionally unstable environments. That flexibility often becomes a hidden advantage later in life, especially when others freeze under pressure. 9. You question appearances. You rarely accept things at face value. If something feels too polished, too perfect, too easy, you investigate because experience taught you something powerful. What people show isn't always what's real. This skepticism can protect you from manipulation, from deception, from false trust. 10. You see patterns others miss. This is the biggest sign of all. You connect dots quickly. Behavioral loops, repeated motives, invisible dynamics. You notice when history is repeating itself. You recognize manipulation earlier. You sense outcomes before they unfold. And often, people don't understand how you knew. You just did. But here's the truth. This intelligence came at a cost. It was built through adaptation, through pressure, through hyper-awareness. And sometimes it becomes exhausting because the same mind that protects you can also keep you on alert, always scanning, always analyzing, always preparing. That's why real growth isn't about losing this awareness. It's about learning when to use it and when to let your mind rest. Because your intelligence was never the problem. The constant survival mode was. And once you learn to separate the two, something powerful happens. You keep the awareness, but lose the fear. You keep the insight, but release the tension. You keep the intelligence without carrying the pain that created it. And that's when it becomes real strength, not just survival, but control. So ask yourself, did trauma break your mind or force it to evolve? Because if these signs feel familiar, your past may have shaped something rare, a mind that sees deeper than most. The only question is, will you keep surviving with it or learn how to truly use it?